Tom Taylor and Andy Kubert send Bruce Wayne to jail as the man is taken into custody for the murder of Henri Ducard. But are the detectives who are interrogating the men really who they say they are, or are they all about equilibrium? Tom Taylor continues his mystery with yet another issue that explores a character other than the main villain, who still has very little in the way of an actual character arc or a character story. While I enjoy seeing the older Bruce reminisce about his past life and the people who have been in it and passed on, it's just more stuff we have either seen before, or it's things that would have been better suited in the first half of the issue before Bruce set out on his journey. Maybe if the series was a couple of issues longer, we'd have room for that, but I don't feel in a 6-issue miniseries we have room to explore something we've seen 100 times before. The issue was built around an interrogation scene which Bruce wanted to use to get information on equilibrium, and it was cool seeing him play up the aged playboy Bruce Wayne a little bit while realizing he's been poisoned, but he barely got anything out of the woman that he didn't already know about her. Andy Kubert comes in to prop up the series with his consistently fantastic artwork, focusing on Bruce Wayne more than Batman this issue. His flashback dream sequences were brilliantly coloured and were a great spark of colour in an appropriately dark coloured book. Batman the Detective issue 4 again did no favours to the villain of the story, barely having Batman learn anything new about them, which is concerning given there is only 2 issues left. Bruce getting a spotlight and him playing up the detective and aged playboy role was cool to see, but again, it's stuff we've seen 100 times before. I'm going to give this issue a 6 out of 10. Batman the Detective issue 4 finds Bruce questioned by Interpol, who tell him something was found at the scene of Henri Ducard's attempted murder, wondering if he recognizes the napkin with Batman's name and a number on it. Bruce drinks some water, not realizing it's soda water, and asking if he can get some sparkling water. The detectives say this isn't a restaurant and that messages like the one on the napkins were all found at different crime scenes, but the number of bodies is increasing in them, wondering if Bruce knows anything about it. Bruce knows this is why he let them arrest him, since now he'll get answers to his questions. Bruce is shown a bunch of photos from the different crime scenes, knowing each wasn't an accident but professional hits. The cops wonder if he knows any of the people in the pictures, and Bruce knows them all, remembering having saved them all as Batman. Bruce says that he doesn't, as a detective says that more murders took place across Europe just as he appeared in the countries, and a plane with 146 people crashed. They know he took a train to Paris, and other passengers reported him arguing with Henri Ducard, but Bruce says that he went looking for a snack and the man was there and was drunk and was angry and they had words. The cops know that he was in first class and they get served there, not in the dining cart, but Bruce says he doesn't like people serving him. The cops ask then why does he have a live-in butler, but Bruce doesn't bite their goading, since Alfred was more than a butler to him. The cops say that Henry's room in Paris was also paid for by Bruce's credit card, but the man says that explains it since he lost his wallet, guessing Ducard stole it. He knows he could probably tell them where he was when the other deaths occurred, but the cops want his hands, cuffing him to the table. Bruce knows this isn't necessary, beginning to sweat as he asks for more water. He knows something isn't right there as the cops ask him more questions, wanting to know about Batman and his relationship with the vigilante. Bruce says they aren't dating if that's what they think, but the cops don't appreciate his jokes. Bruce says that he's crossed paths with the vigilante a few times as he continues to sweat profusely, realizing that his throat is swelling and he's having difficulty breathing, knowing that something was in the water he drank. The detectives know that Batman has saved Bruce a number of times, but Bruce knows the pictures he was shown aren't crime scene photos, since there was no evidence tags and they were taken before the police got there. Suddenly he's stabbed in the shoulder by the female detective, who says that there are pictures of Bruce and Batman together, but there are ways that he could have manipulated that. She says that she genuinely thought that Bruce could have been Batman, but he's too old and Batman would never have drank that water, since he wouldn't have been so trusting. Bruce strains against his cuffs as Vertigo takes over his head and the woman says all will be rebalanced and everyone Batman has saved will die. Bruce passes out as the woman says it's all about equilibrium. Bruce, however, is awake, having slowed his heartbeat down so the poison in his system stops spreading. He lets the supposed cops leave the room, knowing he didn't taste or smell the poison, meaning someone knew what they were doing. He snaps off his cuffs, throwing his chair through the window and finding a dead cop on the other side of the interrogation glass. He knows the cop's name was Terry Mornett, another person who he helped as Batman, hence why he was killed. Bruce knows that he'll be dead in minutes if he doesn't get himself out of there, disguising himself as a cop as he rushes out of the lobby, where he finds Amina and Beryl's lawyer, who are there to bail him out. Bruce tells the girl he'll be dead within 10 minutes as he rushes to a nearby pharmacy, taking some of the pills as he tells Amina to let the pharmacist know that it's cyanide poisoning as he passes out. He begins to dream of his old friends and people he's loved and pushed away and the people he's lost. He also finds that there are new ghosts in his dreams, all the people that Equilibrium has taken and the people who died because he helped them. Soon he awakens, welcomed back to the land of the living by Amina, who says that she got him back to the hotel by telling the cab driver that he was her drunk father, and she paid him extra to help her take him up the stairs. Bruce finds out that he was out for 2 days, asking how many people have died, learning Beryl could only confirm over 200 deaths. Amina tells him about the group of raids in Belgium and a huge fire in Brussels that claimed many lives. Bruce knows he's rested long enough and wants to get his suitcases, and then Amina will need to buy some fruit. Later on, Amina goes and buys the specific fruit order Bruce told her to get, knowing that it was code for something. Batman says it was, asking why Squire came to France in the first place, so the girl says that Beryl asked her to join Batman. Bruce wonders if Beryl was ever going to ask him in the first place, but Amina says that she did, but then decided to send her without asking. Bruce tells her to eat the fruit as they wait for a giant truck to arrive. Sarah gets out of the truck, thinking that it was all part of a drill since the old English guy she's had contact with insisted on a drill every few months. She hasn't heard anything from him lately. Batman tells her that Alfred died, which Sarah is sorry to hear, since he sounded kind. Bruce says he was as he opens the truck, as Sarah reminds Batman that he helped her and her mother not too long ago. Batman does remember telling the woman to get herself and her mother and go underground and hide somewhere, and he'll let her know when it's okay. Amina is surprised to find the truck is a mobile bat cave, noticing a small T-Rex and coin on the tables, which Bruce notices has a note on it from Alfred, telling him they are just a little piece of home. He says to the truck to take them to the main highway, but Amina thinks he's talking to the toys, knowing that it has little arms and is inanimate, therefore it can't really drive. Bruce, however, was talking to Oracle, whose computer systems activate. Bruce tells Amina to buckle up as Oracle takes them towards Belgium. Batman tells Oracle to access his piggyback into the Interpol Lion HQ systems, telling the AI to wipe all traces of Bruce Wayne from the system, and to search for a woman with an olive complexion and dark auburn hair. He soon finds the woman who stabbed him, knowing this woman is well trained. Batman tells Oracle it's time to contact them, wanting the European Alliance of the Bat activated. The Bat